Hi, I'm Dr. Animesh Shah. I'm a clinical oncologist, and today we'll be discussing about colorectal cancer. So, according to World Health Organization, cancer is uncontrolled growth and spread of cells. It can affect any organ. It usually starts with an organ and invade surrounding tissue and can spread to distant organ. When this kind of cancer involves colon or rectum, it is called colorectal cancer. According to Globocon 2020 data, colorectal cancer is third most common cancer. In 2020, it has affected 1.93 million patients, which comprises approximately 10% of all cancer worldwide. And in terms of cancer-related death, it is the second most common of cancer-related death, comprising of 9.4% of all cancer deaths. So family history is one of the common cause of colorectal cancer. Particularly if a first degree relative with age less than 40 is affected with a colorectal cancer, there is higher risk of developing colorectal cancer. Roughly about 15% of colorectal cancer is associated with various genetic conditions. There are two most common genetic conditions which are called Lynch syndrome and familial adenomatous polyposis, which have been associated with development of colorectal cancer. So apart from that, sedentary lifestyle, obesity or high body mass index has been associated with development of risk of colorectal cancer. Diet low in indigestible starch, high in carbohydrates and fat, low in micronutrients can increase the risk of colorectal cancer. Apart from that, it has been seen that ulcerative colitis and to a lesser extent Crohn's disease has been associated with risk of colon cancer. Screening literally means that searching for cancer or abnormal cells that might become cancer in asymptomatic or normal people. So in United Kingdom, it has been suggested that people 60 years older should have colorectal cancer screening from the age of cancer screening every second yearly. In countries like Australia or United States, it is suggested to have colorectal cancer screening from the age of 50. Usually fecal occult blood test, fecal immunohistochemical test and flexible sigmoidoscopy are often used as a screening tools. In Nottingham trial, it has been seen that screening can reduce the risk of colorectal cancer by about 15%. So it has been seen that diet rich in fish or fibers and low in red meat can reduce the risk of colorectal cancer. There is a clinical study called CAP2 study done in patient with Lynch syndrome. It was shown that using aspirin can reduce the risk of developing colorectal cancer. There are further two studies going on. One is ASCOLD study and one is aspirin study, which is looking into the role of aspirin in prevention of colorectal cancer. Patient with colorectal cancer can present with unexplained anemia or low hemoglobin. They can present with pain abdomen, lump in the abdomen, bleeding per rectum, altered bowel habits, etc. So usually when we suspect a patient to have colorectal cancer, colonoscopy is the initial investigation by which we can inspect the colon and rectum, and we usually take a biopsy from the tumor. This is usually followed by a CT scan. Sometimes when the patient is planned for curative intent treatment, we do a PET CT scan. In patient with rectal cancer, we sometimes do a MRI pelvis to look at the local extent of the disease and spread of the disease to nearby lymph nodes. We do some baseline blood test including CEA, which is expected to increase in 85% of the patients. In patient after surgery, sometimes we do some molecular marker tests like microsatellite instability or MMR. These are the tests which help us to guide whether we need to give chemotherapy or not after the surgery. In patient with advanced stage disease, sometimes we do various molecular markers to decide upon various treatment options like KRAS, BRAF, etc. So basically, depending on the tumor extent, spread of the tumor to lymph nodes or distant organ, colorectal cancer can be divided into 4 stages. Stage 1 and 2, where the colorectal cancer is confined to the bowel. Stage 3, where it has spread to the lymph nodes, and stage 4, where it has spread to distant organs. I'll divide the treatment of colon cancer and rectal cancer. So the primary treatment of colon cancer is surgery. Some patient after surgery might need chemotherapy. This chemotherapy can be in the form of oral tablets or intravenous drip. Usually 3 to 6 months of chemotherapy is needed. Rectal cancer, most patients of rectal cancer will need radiotherapy or chemoradiotherapy before proceeding with the surgery. It has been shown that short course of radiotherapy or giving chemotherapy and radiotherapy together before surgery reduces the risk of local recurrence. After surgery, patient might need additional chemotherapy. When radiotherapy is planned, intensity modulated radiotherapy or IMRT, including techniques like VMAT or Rapidarc, has been shown to reduce the risk of side effects by reducing the dose to normal organs like bowel, bladder, pelvic bones, femoral heads, etc. In advanced stages, patients are usually incurable. This group of patients are usually treated with chemotherapy or biological therapy or their combination. So some patient might need palliative radiotherapy for symptom control like pain or bleeding. Some patient of colorectal cancer might present with obstruction, and in those patients a colostomy is often done, which is a kind of bag fitted to the abdomen to bypass the stool. So usually stage 1 and 2 colorectal cancer can be cured with available treatment. Stage 3 colorectal cancer can also be cured, but they are at higher risk of recurrence. Stage 4 colorectal cancer are usually incurable, although there is a subgroup of patients with small or limited spread of the cancer to distant organ. These group of patients are called oligometastatic disease patient, and this group of patients can be cured. Otherwise, stage 4 cancer of the colorectum cannot be cured. Thank you for listening.